Today of Montreal released their new album, aethermead, and as soon as it had released, I immediately had to listen to it. I was listening to it in the car all day. I didn't stop listening to it. I didn't pause or anything. And wow, this album was definitely different from what I had initially thought it was going to be like. It was very depressing, both in the bad ways, but mainly in the good ways. I don't have many critiques of this album. I mean, I have some, but there are not a lot of them. There are just a little bits where I could think, things should have been done differently. So before I start this review, I will just say that this is a very personal album, and I'm not really trying to take anyone's side here, because I know that this obviously centres on obviously the lead singer Kevin Bond's relationship with his ex-fiancée, and I'm not really trying to take anyone's side in this situation and say, oh, they're bad. I'm trying to be not as biased as I really want to be. I'm not trying to be biased at all. There may be bits where I'm, as a fan, I'm a little bit biased, but I'm not trying to be biased in this case. Obviously, I don't know Kevin Barnes, so I don't know whether he did some bad things. Well, I think he probably did do some bad things because he admits it himself in some of the songs, so there's no real doubt about that, but I'm not trying to initially sort of blame anyone for this, so I won't take his word for gospel, but I will try and understand how the relationship sort of flowed, how it went through. Obviously we get Kevin's point of view, so I'm gonna have to understand it through that, because that's the only point of view I really have. I don't have his other's point of view, so I can't really say anything. But I don't really, I don't have the full picture, so please don't take it out on me if I've said something that you think is a little bit wrong, and that didn't really happen or something like that. I guess just tell me if I'm saying anything bad, but don't kind of point the finger at me and say oh, you're only saying that because you're a fan. I'm trying to be as unbiased as I can. So first, obviously, I can't review this album without talking about its background. So this album is of Montreal's 26th album. I think it's the 26th album. I counted all the albums on SoundCloud and it came up with the 26th. However, there may be some that are not on SoundCloud, so just let me know about that one. Yeah, correct me on that if I'm wrong. It commences Kevin Bond's nearly 8-year relationship with his ex-fiancée, who is called Christina Schneider, who was in the band Locate S1 and still is. I haven't really researched about that band, so if she isn't now, just tell me again. Locate S1. I've never heard of Locate S1 until I really looked about Kevin Bond's relationships, because I was curious, because I thought he was still married to Nina Grotland at one time. Obviously that kind of contradicts it, because she's not got the last name Nina Barnes, but I guess some people don't want to take their partner's name, but I found out that he was with her. So yeah, it commences their nearly 8-year relationship. They actually announced it back in 2020, I think, but I think they've been dating longer than that. I'm not really sure. Again, he keeps his personal life very sort of under covers, and it's fine that he does that, so I'm not really gonna make some assumptions here. Yeah, but she did do a song with him on the album You're Fun. I like You're Fun, but haven't really listened to most songs on there apart from Saint Sebastian. Saint Sebastian is an amazing song, but she did do a song with him. Unfortunately, it contains the G slur, which this is really where I have to kind of take off my fan hat, I guess, and say, yeah, this is not very good. But, so, it is pretty cool that she collabed with them, though. Like, I like the Of Montreal collaborative songs. Like, the one with, I think her name is Janelle Monáe. Enemy Jean, yes. That one was really good. But, unfortunately, yeah. I believe also, I was scanning through Wikipedia, sorry, and one of her albums was actually was released through his record album, and that's also pretty cool. But I haven't listened to the album. I don't really know which album was it in particular. But and yeah, I assume their relationship was in 2018, but I don't really know. But yeah, so this album is actually called after Aethermead Park, where he used to walk his dog when they were in a relationship. So yeah, I like the sort of taking the name and put it on the album. I like that. That's a pretty cool fact. I don't exactly know why they split, but they split recently. I don't know what the full reason was, but there are some reasons kind of given in the album and sort of subtext, so I'm not sure. Some of them are more clearer. Of other ones you have to really kind of get deep underneath the skin to kind of understand, and some of them are really complex and you don't really get them. I didn't get some of them, I'm sorry. I'm not the best at analysing, so a lot of these, my interpretation, I know interpretations can't really be wrong, but if my interpretation is quote unquote wrong, then I guess just tell me or leave some suggestions. None of these songs are like, you know, when you like make a song dissing someone or something like that. I feel like that's a common trend in pop music, is where you make a trend to sort of track to sort of diss someone. None of these are diss tracks, but you can tell that they're definitely directed at someone and they are insulting. So yeah, there are more insults than the average Of Montreal song. So yeah, that's there, but like, I suppose they're not really insults as they are criticisms. I think they're more criticism than they're insults, but some of them are really strong criticism, so take that as you will. This album is extremely personal. I don't think many meanings can be made out from the songs other than about the relationship Kevin Barnes had with Christina. So I can't really say I was a big fan of that, because I like songs that are kind of more, open to interpretation, because most Of Montreal songs, while he used to sing about his relationship with Nina Grotland, you could also kind of pinpoint another meaning to them, and these ones, no, you can't really do that. There's not space for interpretation. I wish it was more subtle, but yeah, again, this is made to commence his nearly 8-year relationship, so there you go. I think it's good at doing that. Yeah. But now we get on to the actual album. So, firstly, I can't really talk about this album without talking about the cover art. So the cover art is absolutely amazing. I love it. I love it so much. It's just, all Of Montreal album covers are just amazing. I can't think of a bad one. Well, I can think of a few that I didn't like, but still the artistry really just shows. And yeah, I like all David Barnes' artwork. So, because, it really just, every single sort of cover just matches the vibe of the album. Like this one, as we can see, it is very unusual because there's not many colours. There's always colours in Of Montreal album covers, and there's none here. This is just very black and white to sort of describe how depressing this album really is inside. You can kind of get how the album is going to be from the outside. A lot of people say, I judge by album covers. This is just definitely an album where you probably should judge by the album cover. Obviously, I dislike the lack of colour because I like colour on Of Montreal album covers. You know what? I like colour on most album covers, majority of them. But I was I wasn't a big fan of the black and white colour scheme. But yeah, again, if there was like a colourful colour scheme, you wouldn't really get the vibe from the album from it. You'd kind of think, oh, this is another Happy of Montreal album. No, I don't think that really was a message that should have been communicated through the album cover if it was really colourful. But yeah, this is just tells you all you need about the album. And also, because none of these songs are happy, what is the point having a happy album cover? Because people are going to think it's happy and then get a bit disappointed. Yeah. I also didn't like the fact that there is also a family on the album cover, because, he didn't have any kids with this woman. Maybe they classed, them two and the dog as a kid. Maybe they classed them two and the dog as a family, and I'm open to that. Because, anything can really be a family. Just, I don't really get it that much, really. But, maybe this is, gives this sort of vibe that, maybe they could have had a family. I mean, they do. Oh, I'm not going to give anything away. No spoilers in this intro. But, yeah, maybe this kind of gives us a vibe that they felt a bit like a family, a little bit. But yeah, apart from the couple of criticisms I just said, I do really love the cover, especially this weird-looking biblical creature. I don't know what you'd call it. I referred to it as the aethermead, but then I realised that aethermead was the name of the park and was, really embarrassed. So yeah. Songs. So, we're going to get onto the songs because I have spent too much time talking about the background and the album cover, so I don't really want to do that. So we're going to go into the songs. Now, unfortunately, most of the songs were very somber and slow and not upbeat at all. There was about 5 or 3 songs I would definitely class as upbeat, but a lot of them were not upbeat. Now I know this is not meant to be a happy album. Upbeat songs would feel very, very out of place. So, it's meant to be about a hard time in Kevin's life. So, it's very sad and emotional. What would be the point of having it as upbeat? It's probably just my own fan bias for being that fan who's very much only listened to really Hissing Fauna, Skeletal Lamping, Sunlandic Twins, and all those albums were very upbeat, so I might have to take it back a little bit. But I understand why, the upbeat songs would feel, a lot of upbeat songs would feel very, very misplaced in this album. But, maybe that's a good, so it's obviously a good thing that they are not on there, but upbeat ones still hold power, so maybe there could have been still power in the upbeat ones. I personally think so. I personally think that even a happy song can have sad undertones, so I feel like that could have been done. But I'd say this was a good decision on communicating the messages found in the album, because, there is no other way to really communicate the message of total sadness through a good old sad song. So yeah. We open the album on the song Already Dreaming, a perfect way to start the album. It's basically like when a film that you're watching starts at the end instead of the beginning, and then it rewinds. It's like seeing this through, kind of flashbacks. And you see this, there is really, you see this kind of backtrack of deciding to leave. I don't know, not really deciding to leave, just deciding that, okay, this relationship is toxic, I'm going to leave. But it was a really good song. It has really ethereal vocals, and talks through how this relationship has ended badly. There is hope, out into the jungle, I know. I'm sorry, I'm gonna sing it. Out into the jungle, I know, but I'm already dreaming. It's about finding kind of new beginnings and the end ones. That's a good message, There's hope. I like how there's a 60s psychedelic style that's very reminiscent of their first album, Cherry Peel. That really communicates its message, because I guess Cherry Peel was their first album and this is the first track on their new album. Kind of like a flashback, if you get it. Oh, and props to his daughter Beatrice Barnes for this amazing surrealist vintage inspired music video. It was I've rewatched it twice because it was so good. I absolutely loved it. It was so satisfying to watch. Not in like a kind of like a psychotic way, because like I know it's like a music video about bad things, but like in a, I can really appreciate her. I really hope she's going to get into some more projects in the future, because her film, the way that she films is really nice. So yeah. One thing, we went from Cherry Peel to more Lady on the Cusp-esque kind of sounds. The sound is more reminiscent of modern of Montreal. But the old of Montreal sound does come through a little bit. The song feels like love as start of a relationship that's going to go bad. Though it did sound like I'm gonna sound a bit weird for this one, okay? But the part in it where it kind of sounds like glitter, I always call this part kind of sounding like glitter because it kind of sounds like glitter. And it sounded like a part in this part, he's crashing us from the Sunlight Twins. And you might seem a little bit dumb for that. Just thinking about the sounds like my most favourite of Montreal song. But it does, trust me, it's probably the same sound. I really like the whispery vocals, that kind of tingly in the ear. That's a bit of a weird way to put it. I just really love the soft kind of whispery vocals. Yeah. Listen to music and cry. God, I think the song might make me want to cry. The melancholic vocals and self-pity are very strong in this. They just radiate out of the song. The song is just about sadness of having left a relationship. And oh my god, these words, I was literally riding in the car with my dad at this point, and these words made me like have to suck my tears back in. The words are, she makes a more convincing widow than a wife. It had me having flashbacks to Nina Grotland and his relationship, I guess. But we all know that this is about his most recent relationship. Maybe there's a pattern, I don't really know. No, there definitely is a pattern. I can see a pattern in there with his relationships kind of ending badly for maybe a reason. But, yeah. The parallels are, you can see them. You can see the parallels in his relationships. But, basically this is just he's just trying to convince himself this relationship was bound to go bad. There we go. And it has, a slight level of uncaringness to it. Like he was trying to convince himself, it's good, it's over. Yet he sings, "You're still my idol." Shows that he's not in fact moved on. He's still there. He's still worshipping her like an idol, even though he knows it's gone, it's ended. I really like the heavenly sound though, very angelic. My Gigi? I don't know what a Gigi is. I thought it was some sort of pronouns. That's all so stupid, but I did think it was genuinely pronouns. I don't know what a Gigi is. If someone could tell me below, please. But this is weirdly romantic for a sad album. He's still clinging on to memories, however, "You'll never be my Gigi" shows he knows he's obviously not with her anymore, and he never will. Yet, the obsessive vocals, just my Gigi, my Gigi, my Gigi, show the feeling of obsession. He left her, but he can't let her go. He still really loves her. He hopes that she breaks up the relationship if she forms one again. The melancholic tone, shows that there is truth, even though he's kind of, being obsessed with her, being like, I hope it'll be my Gigi again. the truth does seep in. He realizes, oh, she'll never be with me again. So Take the Form, we finally get to an upbeat song I love on this album. It's psychedelic, it's wild, it has wrath, but a sorrowful edge. It is self-pitying and very sad if you overlook, the good psychic beats in it. I don't know why I just said psychic, I mean psychedelic beats, sorry. But it is self-pitying, again, very self-pitying. I was listening to this in the car with my dad and I literally had hold back tears because this song is so sad. I don't know what it is about it, but it's really sad. Some of the lyrics are kind of pointing the finger. As I said, there's going to be subtle insults in here. A lot of the lyrics are just pointing the finger at his partner and being like, yeah, you did this, you are to blame, basically. So it gives the vibe of an argument, or maybe Kevin is begging her, I don't know, because him trying to convince, a lot of the lyrics sound like they're trying to convince, like he's begging on his knees for her to, stay with him, take the form of a relationship, stay with me, basically, because the convincing in this song is just undeniable. We get another upbeat song again. We get my most favourite song on the album, best song on the album, When. Montreal doing noise rock was what someone put in the comments of this, and I was like, yeah, I mean, they've done every single genre under the sun, so it wasn't surprising, but noise rock? And they're not bad at it as well, so I really like this. So, yeah, the song kind of made me think that this album was going to be noise rock. It's not noise rock, but because the tone to it, it's almost like kind of hot with the I just wanna F you again, but the other lyrics is just like, basically just F you, but I also love you, but I also hate you. It's very mixed in some parts where you just kind of don't know what emotions he's trying to convey in this song. The vocals are very powerful though, I will say, and it is accusing, I don't want to be in your film, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. It's very pointing the finger. A person saying, I don't want to do that, I just want to love you, but, you're making me do all these things, so I kind of hate you. Makes the song very contradicting. Kind of goes back and forward like an argument, as I discussed in the past. Hack It Up. Yes, this is him recognising the relationship is bad and wanting to get out of it, or considering getting out of it. I don't know, I think he's in the middle of getting out of it or staying in the relationship here. But maybe this is him just taking the blame and saying it's both of us that are bad in this relationship. The feelings are mixed, but mostly sad on both parts, him and his partner. I like how the vocals get insistent, like he's like, yeah, relationship is bad, but I don't know, just relationship, or it could be relationship is bad, but it also could be relationship is really going good, as in convincing himself. I'm not sure what the vocals are trying to convey. I think they're most likely trying to convey what I just said. Insistent, we're affectionate, we're a couple, but he knows it's going bad. He's just trying to convince himself. Laken and the family, I don't know what a Laken is, but it's definitely insulting and talking about sort of her faults more than his. He's like, you're just barking at me, basically. You're angry. It gives Major, don't give any affection because I know, you don't truly love me. And, he's criticising her. But at the end, I think he does criticise himself a little bit and tone down the criticising her so he can kind of take a reflection and realise that he needs criticism as well. He kind of asks her if she's happy, and it sounds like he knows the answer, but he's still waiting on an answer to see if things will change. But he knows what the answer is, but he wants to hear a different answer. Having a moment, I couldn't see a total meaning for this one, but Bethlehem has always been for losers really was a lyric that really just stuck out to me. Maybe he's admitting that he's just not a good person. If I go to have holy place, if I go to a holy place, I'm still a bad person, But the lyrics also give a feeling of disorganization, like if, everything's falling around, we're living in a broken home, but the broken home is actually falling apart, it's no longer a sort of metaphor, it's kind of reality, yeah, everything's not right, everything's a little bit misplaced, the relationship is making everything feel a little bit, turned around weird. It's a mess, but it does get across the point, mainly because it just gets a point that this relationship is such a mess. He's just having a moment of disorganization, all these feelings. Yeah. From the front view, I would have liked to have a beat drop in here, because there is a point where it would seem like a beat drop would really suit this song. There's no beat drop. I was disappointed, but there was I just can't with this song. There was a really missed chance to just put a little beat drop in there, but there was no beat drop, so no beat drop, unfortunately. But I still like the song. I mean, still I think the song is powerful. I think there is frustration and sadness in the song. It sounds like shame as well, both on him and his partner, but mostly on his partner in here, but kind of comes back to shame him, actually. He doesn't want her to be ashamed. Maybe he's, trying to mend the relationship and reminisce, kind of flashback, or flash forward. No, it's flashback. Flashback to all the memories they shared, trying to mend the relationship by flashbacking and thinking, oh, look at all the time we shared together, we can't split, but after all, we know that those are memories, they're not the current thing, so it's depressing, but it's true. It's a very sort of true song. To Nothing's Reward, this one is weirdly upbeat. After a really train wreck of a song, we get an upbeat song, which I like the contradiction, but it's a little misplaced here. But yet again, I didn't want to just feel depressed. Again, this album is about to be looking forward to the things in the future and not just kind of dwelling on the past. This one is really upbeat. He's letting it all go, he's aware that this is a bad relationship, and he's acknowledging it. The repeat of your movie. Did she have a movie? I'm not sure, I did not research. Or maybe it's a representation of something else. I love the guitars in this. I love guitars in the Montreal songs, so this is really good. They are at the right time. It adds so much sadness just hearing the guitar. Gives the kind of vibe that just he's just letting things all go. It's sad. I think it's really adds so much to the song. Now we cringe at the thoughts. People are not lying when they said that the last two albums on this the last two songs, mind my words, sorry. The last two songs on this album were an emotional roller coaster, because I made a comment on one of the videos saying, oh, I know this album's gonna be an emotional roller coaster, and someone replied saying the last two songs are, because there was a listening party and I missed it. I'm sorry, I don't go on Bandcamp that much, but because I feel like, crying at this song. I did cry at this song, actually. So the lyric, "You're my second love or my third," just had me in tears. Just all the drawn out lyrics, the sadness. That specific lyric will not leave my mind, because it brings, back the fact that he he does have an ex-wife. It didn't work out with someone else, and now it's not working out. And then the most damning lyric, we talked about marriage and maybe even having a kid. Oh my god, this one just might as well have taken a knife and put it through my heart. I don't care if that sounds cheesy. That's what this song wanted to do, because I was like, oh my god, they were kind of looking to have such a good life together. Yeah, again, we've heard all the songs. We know that the relationship wouldn't probably have worked out. So, yeah, the song couldn't get any more depressing, could it? But God, we talked about ways to grow closer. There we go. The song is even more depressing. It's like that cling to the thought of, you know, we can still be happy together. We can still live this dream life. But they know it will never be. You know, we talked about the ways we grow closer together. We never did that, because they just realise it's falling apart and they want to let it fall apart. It honestly sounds like he's distraught here, but there is relief in a sort of good that never happened because it would be awful kind of way. You know, realising that if, you know, they had gotten married and had the kid, would things have been awful, and then they'd have to deal with all the wreckage afterwards. But the genuine emotions of sadness at the end just completely override that fact. It is distraught, it is damning, it is, even though there's a hint of relief, the relief is not as much. Yeah. Oh, watch me get another pad out, because I wrote more script. There's more mosaics. I mean, he's acknowledging, and this is kind of like, you know, broken your heart, again, put it back together again. I mean, he's acknowledging all that would never work out. The end. He's admitting it would have never, you know, he was admitting it would have never really worked out. And that's okay. Both of them were miserable, truly. Though his significant other did have a lot of faults within this relationship, and he's kind of realising that. And the lyric, sure, you know, I'd want to be a star in New York, not a hick in Vermont. So you probably only recognise this if you were a fan. You know that he lived with his fiancée in Vermont, but now he's moved to Brooklyn. Not only has he moved to Brooklyn to be more well-known, but he's also moved to Brooklyn to be closer to his daughter, Beatrice, who I've mentioned in the past because she directed the Already Dreaming music video. So, yeah, he's just saying he wanted more from the relationship. I'm glad he's free from it now because he can go on and pursue his dreams. And, you know, now he can just be free. And, you know, so that's good. This song is basically just things went bad, but you can always find light at the end of the tunnel. The vocals are just hopeful. The vocals just full with hope, you know. They're just like, you know, this didn't work out, but I found the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm finding things more. As he said in the interview on the article, you know, it's about, you know, kind of, you know, things broken, they're falling apart. Most of the songs are depressing. However, this is kind of, you know, you can find hope even though everything around you is broken. So would I re-listen to this album? Maybe and maybe not. This album, again, I'm not the biggest fan of, like, sad songs, to be fair. Like, I'm just not the biggest fan of sad songs. Like, I listen to, like, Ruby Throat and stuff, which is very sad. Like, the songs are really depressing, but, like, I did love this album. It's just, the vocal, I can't even, like, express how much I love the vocals, and kind of, like, the new modern Montreal sound in this that we might be seeing in future albums. I don't know, please give me an upbeat album after this one. Please tell me that, you know, the rest. And then, yeah, upbeat, that would be really good. You know, I was really broken after this album, but, like, after I finish healing, which would probably take me a few days, I could, you know, I could re-listen to it because it's a great and beautiful album. However, I really hope that Kevin does find a new relationship because he does deserve it after going through so many things. You know? So, do I prefer Over Hissing Porn or Skeletal Lumping? If you're, a regular to my channel, you'll know that is my favourite on Montreal albums. Well, maybe I said that Solandic Twins is my favourite, but I like Hissing Porn and Skeletal Lumping better. But I'm not going to compare this to them because we don't deserve competition here. This is new material. It's going to be different to the old ones. We all have to accept that sometimes. So I'm not really going to comment on whether I, like this better than them because I don't want competition between these because I think they're all, I love them on all different levels. Those are happy, so I like them. This is depressing, so I like it. There you go. We don't really need favourites here. Yeah, they're all my favourites. Yeah, as I said, all my favourites, don't need to compare them. But it does deserve to be held as a classic emotional album. I think this will go down as one of the best albums of 2026. A absolute messy album that just breaks your heart, as I said, and puts it back together again. I really hope I can see these songs live, though I'm not really. I'm gonna kind of lose all my hopes here because that band has not toured in the UK since 10 years, or is it 11 years? No, it's 11 years now. It's 11 years. This band has not came to the UK for 11 years, so I'm not going to get my hopes up. Though it will be interesting to see live recordings of this because I don't really know if he's, used to the melancholic kind of vibe on stage because he's very flamboyant on stage, so I think it's going to be a little bit of a turn. But I really hope the audience actually doesn't leave him blank and actually sings along because it was a little bit painful watching the Lady on the Cusp live video where the audience is just quiet. So that was a little bit awkward, but I highly recommend this to anyone. Absolutely anyone. I guarantee they will enjoy it. But if I had to give any album of 2026, it would be this one, and maybe that's biased because I haven't heard any more of my favourite band's albums come out, but since I am a really big Montreal fan at the moment, this definitely deserves it. So thank you for watching my album of aethermead, and goodbye.